welcome to Monday, July 21st, Berlin Select Board meeting. To my left is Flo Smith and Vince Conti, and to my right is Carla Nuizel and Tour Nelson. And I'm Joe Stock. Is there any additions or changes to the agenda?
I'd like to remove contracts under executive session.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, public comments? Any public comments?
Not public.
Not public. All right, CVR PC CDBG-DR grant.
Here, so
Here we
it's a
go.
little easier for
Oh,
us to
sorry.
see.
Oh my God, spread out.
I'm here requesting that Capital Fire Mutual Aid is wanting to apply.
And you are who?
I'm Keith Kelvin from Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission. I'm the Emergency Management and Transportation Planner. I'm here at the request of Capital Fire Mutual Aid. We were wanting to ask the town of Berlin for the ability to apply for a grant. It's a community development block grant disaster recovery. I get tongue-tied sometimes saying it as well. So there was 57 million just for Lamoille and Washington County came into the state in the wake of 2023. This came through legislation out of Congress. And this money is directly geared for infrastructure that's either mainly in support of housing. The Capital Fire Mutual Aid under the Central Vermont Public Safety Authority had developed had done a study, developed a project to upgrade the entire dispatch services for both fire and police, but primarily fire, for the region. We've never had the money to implement that program. So I've worked with Capital Fire Mutual Aid to look through all the different funding sources out there. There's really nothing that supports that level of equipment in the federal network. You can get radios replaced, so this is an opportunity that we have, and I'm just wanting to use Berlin. We're at the pre-application point. Because Capital Fire Mutual Aid technically is registered in Berlin, that's why I'm coming to you. To get in the door with the pre-application, to start talking with the Agency of Commerce and Community Development, ACCD, we need this pre-application to actually sit down and start having in-depth negotiations on a full application. Their guidance on these, it's a rather large application. It's a community development block grant style application. Is that they most likely will have to actually get a professional grant writer. At least that's what ACCD is recommending to everyone for these. But we just want to get in the door to be able to start that conversation. Currently, the ask for this is right around $5.7 million. But this would upgrade our current system. Most of the equipment is from the 1980s. This would upgrade the system to current digital capability.
And it looks like it's something that would qualify for the grant based on
Yes.
your review?
Yes, yeah, we've actually been already talked with ACCD. Actually started
Just
calling them
preliminary, yep.
the day after that Congress actually allocated this month. So we jumped the gun right because we knew it was going to be coming, and we knew this might be an opportunity. So
Great.
been trying to get that, and that's why I just wanted the town's permission to actually file it under the town name, because we need basically a town sponsor. From my discussions with ACCD staff, we don't know if we'll actually need to use a town sponsor because it covers so many towns that once we get past this point, we might not need to actually use a town as a sponsor, but just to get our foot in the door at this point.
And would it limit our ability to, would it have any impact on if we were to apply for something else? Would
I do not believe so.
So meaning would it be one or the other, or would it have an influence on whether, just curious?
Yes, my concern is it's my understanding there's only, of that 57 million, 15 is set aside for infrastructure.
Yes.
And so 5 million is gonna take out a third of that just for this one project.
It's possible, yes. Yeah, if they were choose to fund that, yeah. Yeah, it depends on kind of how they review it, because it could also be part of the hazard mitigation portion. You know, because obviously you're standing up a system that's gonna,
Yeah.
you know, so it would be kind of how they choose to, which bucket they kind of choose to say they're achieving with it, because they could actually even divide it as covering the hazard mitigation piece and put part of it in infrastructure. It's kind of, it'd be up to ACCD to determine which buckets they wanted to put that in.
I'm gonna ask the chief, is going digital the way to go? I know it's the current fad, but we've all seen on the police side, the debacle.
Has been a debacle.
Which going digital there.
I'm not well educated on the communication side, but my understanding is location of the antennas for PD really has a great effect on their inability and at places to communicate.
And it's my understanding with digital, it either works or it doesn't, whereas with the current analog, it might be scratchy, it might be weak, but you can still hear. With digital, that's it.
You know,
If it goes out, it goes out, you can't
VS,
hear.
VSP has gone digital and have had issues along the way, along with all of their digital
Yes.
that I do know. And again, they have people that are better educated on the communication side than myself to figure that out. So I don't have a good answer for you on the communication side.
Deputy Chief
I'm not an expert at this technology.
I think we have Matt Romeo on the
Romeo,
line.
do you have any insight into
Well,
this?
Well, good evening. I would say that you're right, Tour, in that digital means you're either on or off. I think if we were to take Central Vermont and compare it to geography like say Hanover dispatches for, you'd probably see about the same thing. And I want to say they have either 13 or 23 towers. So it depends on your tower distribution. You also lose a lot when you start going into buildings. So vehicle repeaters and in-building repeaters become more important. Without looking at the details of the plan, I wouldn't be able to speak intelligently about the specifics, other than I can tell you we're in trouble with our communications in this region. It is a disaster in the making. So whatever we could do to make it better, I would wholeheartedly support. I will say, I think one of the challenges you are going to run into with trying to go digital is that not all the especially smaller agencies are digital capable. So where that's not a big lift for a department like Berlin, some of the very small, very underfunded agencies may find that to be quite a lift.
Is there another region that's implemented it?
No, there's no one else in Vermont has got this far yet. Actually, we're the only region even that I'm aware of that even has a study of what to do. Now, the current system, the way this would be installed is they would be able to upgrade the equipment and they would stay on analog until everything was set up and worked. So hopefully that could be coordinated with those other agencies. Make sure all the departments have the proper equipment when that is.
I'm gonna put you on the carpet here, or whatever.
On the spot?
The radios. I know you've had some difficulties in the past on the radios. Do you still have those, or is it been
Absolutely,
fixed?
and absolutely, it's not been fixed. They Burlington Communications, I believe, has told us that they did move the repeater antenna to where it sits, like just below where Berry Cities is, but we still have no good, like right now with this portable radio right now, I would have trouble getting out to our dispatch. So, and as far as I know, the town repeater and the highway repeaters still, I don't believe are working. We don't use it because it wasn't working. I don't believe that they are working as they should be either, so.
Okay.
They're like, basically, if you can't see the guy, you can't talk to him. So.
Right. Okay.
But I have not checked those recently, so please don't quote me on that. I was gonna say that.
Oh, you're recorded, so.
Well, that's why I said, yeah, don't quote me, because
So, this is new to me, what do you do when you can't communicate? Did you have a
move,
backup method?
I was gonna say, or we go to our car radios, which are a little bit more
Okay.
powerful, but the movement of the repeater was supposed to help us out because we can't, like, inside any of the businesses, like we go to
Right.
Walmart, that's a big one, we're in there quite often. Once we're in past where the cash registers are, we cannot, our radios are useless. Same thing with Shaw's, which is, up here on the hill where you can
Right.
see the tower from there, so I don't know what the problem is.
Huh,
But you can see the tower from there and they're not working, whether it's, I've got an older radio or the newer ones that we purchased also are not working any better either, so. So, not a tech guy, I don't know what the answer is, I just know that go outside and hold my radio up there sometimes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so, but if not, we go to cars.
On the fire side, I can see the Mount Irish radio tower from my yard. And a couple weeks ago, when we had that incident in the Dog River, I couldn't get dispatch couldn't hear me. I was on a 100-watt mobile, so it doesn't get any better than that in the field.
Yeah, because our portables are, I believe, only 5 watts.
5
I
watt
think,
sounds, but most portables are, yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
There's your, thank you, Sergeant. Good timing.
Good luck.
This didn't knows me on TV, I lived in my hair.
so what are the steps, if we were to approve you doing the pre-process, is there what would the steps be? And would there be another place where we would vote yay or nay, or is this it? Once it started, it's,
So, as the steps as far as we're aware, we would, my plan is by the end of this month to try to have the pre-application in the ACCD, so we can sit down and start a conversation with them. Because this organization covers so many different areas.
Yep.
Whether we would stick
Still
with
need-
having Berlin as the actual kind of sponsor municipality, or whether we would go to like a multi-town structure. That basically are just want to use this to kind of get in the door to have the formal conversations with them as far as any grant application going forward and how they would want us to pursue that, because it's kind of up to their purview on how this money gets spent and how it gets divided up into buckets, and if they see a good fit anywhere for this. So I mean, sorry I don't have a better,
No,
because I really wish I did have a better timeline there, but it's really up in the air as this has been developing very fast.
I think it makes sense to talk about, whether it proceeds or not, but it certainly seems to make sense to me to talk about it with them.
Well, this is probably what, the 4th, 5th grant, 6th grant that we have
Yeah,
pursued.
we've looked at everything,
Yeah,
that is out there. USDA was the best hope, and they're not currently funded at a level that
Yeah,
we could even, that we would actually have to come back to the municipalities to try to get much more money
Yeah.
to actually implement the program if we went down that way.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so I'm just asking
yeah.
for the permission to proceed.
I'll move
No
to sponsor the
guarantees.
pre-application to begin the conversations with ACCD.
No, second it.
any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you
Opposed?
for your efforts.
Thank you very much. And I will definitely keep you all informed of anything that comes out of this, especially as being the sponsor town at this time. I will completely keep you in the loop.
Great, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Moving on, Jury Hotel. Extension.
We have a special guest, Karen Whitman from Erie Hotels on line with us. Good to see you again, Karen.
Nice to see you guys. It's last time I was there was snow and winter and crazy. So I'm gonna
Well,
just
the way the temperature feels today, I think it might snow again tonight.
Well, it's a lot better time to visit here now, Karen.
yeah, I know. Except now I'm doing it via Zoom.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. You should have come to see us.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm representing Geary tonight. We are diligently trying to get our home two suite through all of the zoning process, and we do need an extension on the land purchase that we're purchasing from the town. We have been working diligently, but it takes a little bit longer than we expected. We are spending a lot of money with John Grenier and Grenier Engineering, and we just need to make sure we can get that extension so we can proceed.
I guess if you could address the termination letter that we have received.
Yeah, so our lawyers, because our agreement with the town expired a couple days ago, our lawyers err on the conservative side, and they asked us to send that letter. So if you don't grant the extension, which we really don't think will be the case, and we are hoping not, but we would be able to get our deposit back. So it's just to protect Geary legally, because our agreement expired prior to this meeting, just a couple days ago. I believe it was 19th. So
Oh, it's one or the other, it's not both. I was confused.
What's that?
So it's one document or the other, it's not both. We would either approve. Yeah.
it's our lawyers protecting us is all that is, and we will
Okay.
rescind that tomorrow if we're granted approval tonight.
Okay, that makes sense. So this is just.
It's just an insurance policy so that we would get our deposit back from the town if it didn't move ahead. So that's all it is the lawyers are saying if you don't get an extension, you lose your deposit. So hence,
Gotcha. So this is just extending the agreement to February 6, 2026.
that's all it is.
Okay.
You do understand it'll probably be snowing then when you come up for the closing.
I will
It's
do.
snowing most of the times I've been there. I've had floods, I've had snow.
We do have nice weather up here, Karen.
I've been there in the summertime too, but I actually was there once when you guys had that crazy flood. I think that was last summer or the summer before. I can't even remember when you had that.
Both.
Could have been either one.
Yeah, right.
So I move to adopt the amendment to the purchase and sale agreement, extending the purchase date through February 6, 2026, with all other provisions pending the rescission of the termination letter.
And I second that motion.
Karen, I just want to say, I think there's a word missing under permanent contingency. It says buyer shall until February 26, 2026 to obtain. I think it's just missing a have, shall have until, I think, but just pointing that out. I think it works.
If you want to write that in, you have my permission to do
Okay.
that. And I didn't proof it, but that's the lawyers.
Okay. Anyway, that's all I got.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Karen.
I will email this to you in the morning, Karen.
Yep, and we'll have our lawyers send the rescission letter.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you guys
Thank you.
very much.
Good seeing you
Enjoy your
again.
evening.
Thank you. Nice to see you too. Bye-bye.
So moving on, Montpelier draft city plan. This is the email from Stephen Whitaker.
Yes. We're quite a bit early and he's not here yet. So do you wanna move on to something else in case he comes in?
Is he coming in person?
I would assume so. This is, no, I won't say it.
Do you want-
All right. Gateway Avenue, construction bid. We'll move this to the end.
So we had issued an RFP for the Gateway Avenue reconstruction. This would be the realignment, adding the water and sewer lines, and repaving from Route 62 to the Walmart parking lot.
Is this yours?
No, just sign whatever it is. One bid was received, and that was from Dowie Percy Inc. out of Stowe. The original bid proposal was for $1.8 million. After reviewing it with the engineers, they came back with a revised bid of $1.728.160.59, $1,728,160.59. This bid will get everything that's required, for the Gateway Avenue, the sidewalks, the street lights, the landscaping, on-street parking, everything that's required for the new town center, street designations. And of that $1.7 million, we have about $690,000 in grants were looked to be able to contribute. We have $190,000 signed grant agreement and $500,000 for in conjunction with the Fox Run project. That grant has not been executed yet, but is all but a sure. It's never a sure thing until you actually sign it, but.
Yeah.
The proposal itself has been approved, accepted. It's just a matter of getting the grant in place and all the steps associated with that. The problem is that the mall, so that's going to leave the mall with about $1 million, or just a little bit over $1 million. They are balking at that amount. That is much higher than they were anticipating having to spend on this project. So they are not willing to commit to it at this point. That kind of leaves us in a pretty delicate situation. Act 250 permit has not been obtained yet. It's been applied for and some amendments have been submitted, but we don't have that. Once the permit is issued, then there's a appeal period. So we're looking, and realistically, the earliest we can start construction is September 1st. Generally by around middle of November towards Thanksgiving, Pike shuts down their hot mix plant up here. Hanover and Williston, they run a little bit longer, but maybe only a week or two. It's not anticipated that at this standpoint that the project would be able to get finished, this construction season. It will spread into next spring, primarily for the top coat. They can get the base coat in and all the underground utilities and everything. when you do that, you usually run into a price increase on what, you know, material's gonna cost next spring. So I guess.
What's the gap?
Million.
No, how much they're willing to put in,
Well, they're not willing to come up with a firm number.
well, that would help.
Well, I agree 100%.
So,
Yes.
my opinion on this is, I think we should postpone until we have at least a concrete number, commitment.
I-
the funding.
you know,
I mean, also the
Just-
permit. I mean, this is critical to their application for,
well, not just this, but for the Chipotle and.
That's what I mean,
And
for the-
Starbucks and
well,
the
more
whole,
so.
the whole project.
More
yeah,
so
yeah.
for, but yes,
Mhm.
definitely for Chipotle, because the lot's not even,
It's impossible for us to commit without
Right.
the
Well, I
other
don't know,
side
concrete
being
number. I
willing
mean,
to
I don't know
come
if
to
we-
us with a number.
You know, they're not gonna hold this bid until, right, next year.
Exactly.
Correct.
It's probably
Correct.
gonna go up unless the mall comes back with a firm number that meets it
Mhm.
before we can move forward
I
with
mean, at one
this.
point, I feel like they had committed at least $500,000.
That's about the number they never committed to it, but that's kind of the number they had in the back of their mind. So I will make the motion
Okay,
that we reject the bid.
I was gonna make a motion, just to be clear, to postpone this indefinitely until, again,
You're gonna, postpone my bid, my motion.
okay, yeah.
Well, do we
So-
have to reject it, or can we wait until, can we postpone the decision until at least
Till
there's
we
a
have it.
permit and there's a concrete
Well,
number?
I guess to do it correctly, I'm making a motion to reject the bid.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a
No,
motion.
no, needs a second.
I'll second
I
that.
don't,
Okay,
I'm not understanding,
So I will make a motion to postpone the rejection of the bid indefinitely.
definitely.
oh,
Right.
okay,
Because again, we need, as you said, the permit, and we need at least to have the dollars and cents committed to the
Yeah.
project.
And I'll second that.
so
Any
what are
more
we voting
discussion?
on? Are we voting on the amendment, or are we voting on the? what are we
The,
voting?
the postponement.
Postponement.
Postponing.
No.
Okay,
Any more discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Postponing? Opposed?
Oh.
Moving on, fire department stipend / pay schedule. So I think a week or so ago, I sent this out as a PDF as well as an Excel, just in case you wanted to go in there and start playing with numbers. What you're looking at is money coming from two different line items. If you stay at the top, we're talking about just the stipend, which is at $67,000, and you have an hourly rate assigned to positions, and based off of the call in the last 2 years, 300 seems to be a good number to work with, and your average number of responders with the average number of time on each call. That's 3.5 responders per call at an hour and a half per call. That'll, at 300 calls, that would be somewhere around 42,300. That stands off to the side, and then you look at your in-house Tuesday night trainings. You're not gonna pay that, I'm suggesting not paying that out hourly. I'm gonna suggest pay that out as a $25 stipend. That's to get people in the door. And we're dealing with averages here. So your average number of responders, you see that is the 10 with the 52 Tuesdays in the year, and that's gonna cost you around $13,000. your weekend duty stipend. And again, this is 2 people that are gonna commit to being available from 6 PM Friday night to 6 PM Sunday night. You know, that stipend for those individuals would be $25 or $50 for the weekend. Basically $25 for a 24-hour period. And that would end up costing roughly $5,200 at the end of the year. Right about in the middle, we're talking about officer positions and some duty stipends. I zeroed those out. I put an estimated cost, what I believe that would be reasonable, but I zeroed the hours out. I want you guys to be thinking about that because there's a whole lot of work going on behind the scenes with the officers. And they're right now, I'm not suggesting we have any money that we can pay anything for that. What I'm hoping for is that behind the scenes work is going to be able to be done on your weekends, where they will be in station. Moving about 2/3 down, you're looking at some of the training. So that's a different line item. We have $4,600 for training. And there's different types of training, and this would be outside training. So you can go to a 1-day or a weekend-long school, fire school. So basically I broke it down into hours. As far as the 1 day, it'd be an 8-hour and a 16-hour. But then you get into other trainings which is a little more intense, and you're getting into 35 to 50 hours or up to 50 to over 100 hours. Your Fire 1 is probably your most extensive at 237 hours of training. We cannot pay that out hourly. And so I have a suggested stipend off to the side for any one of those. Now, with the number of responders, that column, that's, like I said, off to the side, that's a pretty aggressive schedule. I feel we're gonna end up having to hold ourselves to a number of people that we can send to a Fire 1 class or even a Fire 2 class. As much as I don't wanna say that, we have probably in the last 2 years sent somewhere around 9 to 11 individuals to these Fire 1 classes. That's pretty impressive. I will also say that 4 of them were Norwich students, which I don't know if I would be, should they receive a stipend if they're not going to be staying within the community for a period of time. Okay? I see that as keeping them active within the department and enthusiastic about the service.
I don't think you can be selective either.
I know. But
I wouldn't think that would be fair.
thank you for saying that. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm looking for support in something here.
I mean, of the 9 to 11 that have gone, how many are still here?
How many are still here? I'm gonna say I have 6. A little better
Not
than
bad.
50% or
Yeah.
50%-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's very small. I wish
And
it was
that's-
higher, but,
That's what I want you to see.
yeah.
But that's what, and there's a little buffer in there, but you can see we're not spending that. There is some still in reserve. You know, we have to be ready for the individual who's gonna come in to wanna join. We already have somebody, we're now moving towards a new onboarding program with this very first one that just came in a couple weeks ago.
Oh, good. Now, how long before you would actually send somebody to training?
Well, the thing,
I'm
If I'm
sure it
talking about
varies with the
fire,
individual, but,
a fire one class will start in late summer, early fall. And it's typical. So if somebody comes in today, they may go in the fall. Okay? I like the idea of keeping them in-house, to give them some of those tools so they're not learning, they're building when
Yeah.
they go to fire one. That's truly what I think is more beneficial for the individual.
yeah, and what I was getting at was like, what kind of commitment does someone have to show before you actually send them to a fire training?
Right.
But I guess they wouldn't wanna go if they weren't committed, right?
Well-
Do we train people that then go to get paid positions, or,
That's what happens at a volunteer department.
yeah,
Um,
just curious, I figured that's what
I've had
happened,
neighboring towns say, go to a volunteer department, get certified, get some training, come back and talk to us later.
but, yeah.
Have you run this by?
The chief
firefighters?
officers have not run this by the firefighters themselves.
And
That-
what are the officers, how do they feel about this?
Hey, Matt?
Putting you on the spot again, Matt.
He likes it.
Well, there was one minor surprise that came through in the presentation. I didn't know he zeroed out the officer stipends.
Oh, sorry. I will say, what I would like to do with that is anything left over, we could probably consider that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the challenge with that is you've got to have something that's kind of, I mean, it's not like what we were doing before when we were dividing a set number by a number of points that you accumulated. There was an officer stipend built into that program. And as much as I would like to think that we can get a lot of that work done on the weekends, not if we want to really be engaged and working with the crews that are working over the weekends. You know, for instance, tomorrow I've taken tomorrow off from work to do fire department, to participate in a fire department exercise here in town. And, you know, look, I'm not looking for the compensation out of it. It's not why I do this work, but
right.
I think that we do have to kind of recognize that commitment that people are making into their towns. So, I all in all, to be honest with you, I think the program that Joe came up with was very thoughtful and pretty doggone comprehensive, to be quite honest with you. And was impressed with the product that he put out. And he knows that I will say otherwise if I believed otherwise too. So don't worry about that part. But yeah, I think it's a great place to start. You know, look, the worst we can do is ride this year and figure out what to do next year. Which
Right.
that could be a whole different um that could be a whole different look in how life is going for us. So we just don't know.
Are you looking to take this to the firefighters?
I will take it to the firefighters tomorrow,
So is this the total, is this the total of what you?
of the line item.
Of the everything? Or is that
Of-
what we have in the budget?
That's what we have in the budget.
And how much does all this add up to? 60,
You have 6,500 that's in reserve, that's not accounted for.
so why are we not, so I'm just wondering if we have, this stipend, is this an annual stipend or a monthly stipend? That you're proposing?
So you get paid hourly per call.
No, I'm talking
the
about
top.
the stipend that you took away.
Oh, that took away? That would be an annual.
I mean, is that too much to keep in there?
It's
It's only
not,
$3,500.
yeah. Sorry, you're gonna take that back because you get 2 lieutenants. So that's 4.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to find where the total is, so
I think you can get that. But I think what we don't know is what is that number of calls and how many hours is spent on the road? And you know, once you get past that, at the end of the year,
And you're always gonna be estimating, right?
right, and so at the end of the year, you might find there's gonna be something else, some extra. What I don't wanna do is come up short and say,
Can't pay you.
can't pay you, which is okay. I shouldn't say that on the report. I'm gonna say, we haven't been paid, so
Right, it's,
we were
we're
paid
getting
differently.
new.
We were paid differently.
Right. So we're not voting on this, so you're gonna take it back to the, or are we?
I'm gonna suggest that you guys could vote on it, and I will bring it to, what are the firefighters gonna do? I mean, they know that we've been working on this. They know they're gonna be paid. They know that we've been talking about stipends for Tuesdays. They know we need to figure out how we're gonna get paid, or a stipend for trainings.
I would prefer,
You want the input?
I would pretty much like their input on this, because it's gonna directly affect them. And they might see something that we don't even think about.
I mean, so you think this will, I guess, my question is, I know now you're doing some sort of point system. So that's geared toward more participation, more stipend, right? This is going to do the same thing, right?
Yes, what this is going to do, I'm hoping it's gonna keep people active in coming in on Tuesdays, okay?
Right.
I'm hoping it's gonna bring more people to the calls, or at least compensate the ones who do go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because if you share it with a group that's gonna say, well, I'm not gonna get, you know, my participation doesn't matter, but it does.
It
So
does.
that's what my point was about participation. So yeah, I think, makes sense to me.
We will bring it to the department tomorrow.
Matt's jumped back on. Does he have something to add?
I was just going to mention, y'all need to be sure that we deconflict this with the town personnel policies on payroll. And I think there's a weird state law about payroll as well. You know, the stipend used to be once a year, and it was, you know, for most of us, it was gun money, or that's what I used it for, right? You know, toy money, play money, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, for me, I paid hockey dues for the kids, but you know, you may want to just make sure that however this lands, first of all, we're gonna, and I'm looking at Joe. You know, Joe and me and John are probably gonna have to figure out how to submit payroll and how all that works and how often.
Well, let me ask you a question. Couldn't you still, couldn't it still be a stipend without it, even if it comes more than once a year?
Well,
'Cause I don't-
sure, you can call it whatever it wants. It's just I think there's a town personnel policy on how often employees get paid, and if not, I know there's a state law that says you have to get paid X number of.
But these aren't employees. They're still not employees. They're still volunteers. They're just getting a stipend for their work.
Mhm.
So I don't think it,
I think I question it.
Yeah, I would,
then we're not meeting the minimum wage here, I don't think. No, I don't think they're employees.
Not with stipend, you're not.
Right.
And that's Carla's point, stipend, just like us as a select board, we receive a stipend and we receive it on an annual basis. And
Yeah.
like you said, this doesn't meet the
I mean, even,
requirements
you
for
could
minimum wage
literally gather all this up and pay it at the end of the year. If you-
Mhm.
I mean, if that was a problem,
under stipend process.
yeah,
Yeah.
or when, I mean, there's ways to adjust.
To manage it.
Mhm.
Depending on how it needs to be done from a operational
Yeah.
standpoint.
I'm not saying you have to do it one way or the other. I just
Yeah, no,
It was a good point.
No, I'm glad you
Point
raised,
made.
I'm glad you raised that,
Absolutely.
Matt. No, I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying I think we could work around it.
Mhm. Thank you.
Good job, Joe.
Mr. Whitaker's here.
You can come up here.
I wasn't sure if you'd rearranged your agenda or.
Well, we did, we skipped past you a little bit, because we were ahead of schedule, but.
Hi, good evening.
Steve Whitaker from Montpelier. I'm here to address or call your attention to the interplay of the Montpelier municipal plan with the regional plan and the approval process. I don't know where y'all are at in your municipal planning stage or how recently.
We're starting to revise it,
Just so
So it might be a year or more
Yeah.
before you get to the regional.
yeah.
I think ours was in revision many, many years, re-adopted just as a placeholder. But what's new is that the voters of Montpelier voted $3 million, anyway, 2 million plus other funds to buy the golf course. And we have paid White and Burke, a big real estate concern, to put together what they called an actionable plan, which was some concepts. And then it recommended a phase 2 planning process, where, again, with a lot of public participation to figure out how much housing and how much recreation and what else is gonna go. This parcel is 138 acres, and it right now dumps all of its traffic right under Route 2, right east of the roundabout. And that's why I think it's a concern to both you and your town and East Montpelier, is that the regional traffic impacts of what's being proposed are enormous. Right? As adopted by the city, the proposal is 300 to 500 units of housing, and they've just executed a lease with Turtle Island, who was desperate for a new location, and leased them 10 years renewable for another 10, or 2 more 5s. Most of the building that's up there, up to 100 students, plus staff, plus parents. Right there, that's gonna trigger a traffic issues at the intersection of Country Club Road and Route 2. And the further complication is the rail siding that comes in. For that kind of traffic level, and I'm no traffic engineer, but I know the concepts. But there's a minimum level distance required for a certain traffic volume before you enter a state highway. That's impossible to do there because of the railroad siding. The railroad siding is elevated, so you can't get that legal level, compliant level landing area. And the problem is that the region is being asked to approve Montpelier's plan when none of this has been resolved. And that issue is further exacerbated by the fact that under the Act 181 expansion, Act 250 exemption extends a half mile beyond existing growth center. So currently, Sabin's pasture, which is that big open land on Berry Street, is in the growth center. So a half mile further than that covers most of the prime ag soils up on Country Club Road. Doesn't get all the way to the woods on the east side. But our municipal planner is hell-bent on avoiding Act 250, avoiding scrutiny of the prime ag soils, which I believe should be preserved, and avoiding a traffic study. You know, he says someday somebody else will do a traffic study based on, but I think that the region should put the brakes on this thing until we understand the full impacts. And the region, you know, y'all presumably need to be up to speed on this because it is a regional impact, and then you direct your regional commissioner. It's different in every town.
Yeah.
Some towns do or don't supervise the regional planning commissioner, but the Regional Planning Commission took it up, was the subcommittee of 4 said, sure, it looks good from my house. Can't see it from my house. And they approved it. And then less than an hour later, I'm just gonna mute that. That's the taxi calling me back that was supposed to get me here at 6 o'clock. The subcommittee on regional plan review, municipal plan review approved its adoption with no questions asked, no planning, scrutiny, nothing. And then several members of the full committee, which my reading of the statute says the full regional commission is supposed to hold the public hearing, not just the subcommittee. And so they had the subcommittee hold the public hearing. A certified engineer, another strong planning advocate in Montpelier, Peter Kelman, and myself all raised a lot of concerns. They all voted unanimously to approve it, as did the staffer on the regional commission.
I was just gonna say, the recommendation from the CRVPC, or the whatever.
Staff recommendation just checks all the boxes with no scrutiny or explanation. It's an interesting, I think this Act 181 change to planning and zoning and the land use review board is gonna require some reshuffling of a regional planning commission's capacity and loyalty and scrutiny. Because they work for 3 bosses. They work for the towns. In fact, our town just gave them $7,000 to do a housing assessment at an inopportune timing. They work for the Agency of Commerce and Community Development, and they work as the region for the collection of towns. And that's really untenable because the interests are often conflicting. So I think we're gonna need to reinvigorate the firewalls and the capacity and the diligence that goes into our regional planning. Because over time, I think governance is going, and I'll use one, it reminds me of one other, regional dispatch. Y'all's free or not free, but your unbilled dispatch from the state police is gonna come to an end soon. I did get to see Mary Moulton, who was the deputy commissioner of mental health or something, when she signed away that 20 years of dispatching for public safety without them knowing about it. But the regional dispatch imperative, I tried to get that into our municipal plan, and y'all should put it in your municipal plan. It is a need. We need an accountable on rates and accountable on mistakes. We need an accountable regional dispatch and affordable. And
Which town are you from?
Montpelier.
Oh, you are from Montpelier, okay.
Yeah,
that's what I
and so
thought. Yeah,
the way it worked in our town is me and Kim Cheney, who's former Attorney General and was the chair of the Public Safety Authority's board, said, hey, we really need to put regional dispatch into our city plan. And our city planner wrote to the police chief, and the police chief says, I like it the way it is. I get to charge whatever I want. I got the monopoly and nobody looking over my shoulders. He didn't say that, but that's the situation. And so nothing about regional dispatch got into our plan.
so can you go back to Act 250, so this is completely exempt now from Act 250?
Yes, as is anything within a half-mile buffer of any growth center boundaries. I don't know if y'all have a growth center or not.
Well, we have a town center, which is one of the
Actually,
designations.
Well, you got a new town center designation
Yes.
because you didn't have a town center.
Right.
And
Correct.
that's a good point. And neither did Colchester and neither did South Burlington. Those were the only 3 that got town
didn't.
center designation because they didn't have one. I argued that we could have done it had we had brighter people in Montpelier City Hall. We could have gotten a notwithstanding clause that said, even though Montpelier already has a town center, Country Club Road could be a second town center for flood resilience purposes. It's
Yeah.
up on high ground and it's not walkable to town. So this is the problem. You're not creating a new housing development that's not walkable to town is contrary
Yeah,
to our goals. So you almost need to make it a village, a walkable village unto itself.
Yeah.
And then just have some transport and some fiber optic for municipal meetings. That, and even emergency dispatch, our dispatch facility, presuming our eventual regional dispatch is contracted to Montpelier or something located in Montpelier, it would need to move, during a flood, it would need to move up to Country Club Road. So all the equipment and connectivity is already there, in such an emergency, or Berlin. I had my eyes on that regional library for it before the state police took it over.
They go over the AOT building now, right? On Airport Road, isn't that where they have an emergency? The
Operations Center,
state,
yeah.
yeah.
But that's state dispatch,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
talking about regional
Okay.
dispatch, it doesn't exist yet.
Oh, okay.
But I guess my point is that the roundabout, both the roundabout at Route 2 and 302, which is real close to your border, and the intersection on Route 2 and Country Club Road are gonna be severely challenged. The city thinks it's gonna get permission to put a high road through the area that was set aside as preserved view, yada yada, when we first got the growth center. Now all of a sudden they wanna put a highway through.
Yeah, right.
But the owners of Saban's pasture don't want any part of it. So that leaves only the existing road with that much traffic dumping into Route 2 and into that roundabout. East Montpelier is concerned because people are gonna start going up Gallison Hill Road. You're not gonna be able to get to the school buses to school on time, and it's gonna be a. So I'm raising it more as a red flag alert, saying that if there was ever a time, so you've heard lack of traffic, lack of a plan. The Country Club Road plan doesn't exist in our city plan. It points out to that White and Burke document, which has since been changed, which isn't part of our plan. So if there was ever a circumstance where the regional commission should say, no, this plan doesn't meet standards. Also, we had 5 members of our housing committee resign over the way all their input was rejected for the plan.
So, oh God, the question just went out of my head. But, one question is, I happen to be on some of those emails that were going around, and I'm just wondering, what's the rush again? Because they have to get some sort of,
Well, actually, at last Wednesday's meeting, he said we may not do TIF, we may do CHIP. And if we do CHIP, which is the new increment financing,
yeah?
it's a project-based TIF. It still goes before the Vermont Economic Progress Council, and it still requires real scrutiny of how much tax revenue is gonna come in. Because if you don't make the increment from projected tax revenue, it falls back on the taxpayer. And the Vermont Economic Progress Council does not want the taxpayers to shoulder the burden of a poorly economically planned development. So the TIF requires the growth center, and the growth center deadline was, because they're set, all those designations are being sunset in 34, the deadline to get the last growth center approval, expansion approval, is the end of September.
Oh, that's what the.
But our town has never done a 5-year capital program. I'm not sure y'all have either.
Working on it.
Working on it.
Okay, but to program every infrastructure expense, sidewalks, water, sewer, road, bus stops, community centers, street lighting, out 5 years and identify every project, put it in priority order with some budget numbers and the source of funds, that's a undertaking that probably few towns have ever lived up to the statute.
Yeah, well, we don't have as much infrastructure as you do. So what exactly is required in the plan to make all this happen? Does it just have to be a statement of intent? Does it have to give specifics?
It's supposed to have a land use map, a land use plan of what's gonna go. It's supposed to have order of priority of your projects, and we don't have that.
No, I'm
either.
talking about this
The regional?
This, in the town plan, not the capital plan.
Okay.
Like, what is the town, I know we had to change our town plan for the town center, to show the intent that we wanted the town
Right.
center. And I'm just wondering, what about this plan that's that they're seeking approval for what, how in detail is it and what is it lacking?
Well,
Not lacking from an approval perspective, like, does it give enough information?
what would be useful, I can share the transcript of that, of Thomas Weiss, the engineer. He's the son of our former longtime city councilor, Alan Weiss. And he's very thorough and diligent and measured in his presentation. So his analysis is detailed in a transcript of that subcommittee meeting. As is Peter Kelman's. Peter Kelman thought we could approve it just by fixing certain things. And then my critiques are more about the public participation. I read from why these people resigned. The public participation is a key point of our planning framework. And if you've if you've allowed staff to defeat that and frustrate that and discourage that to the where people don't want to rejoin these committees, you've created a long-term problem.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are wrong with our plan, and we are cutting corners, or city council has allowed a staffer to cut corners in order to ram this through and get the growth center with the hopes of getting the TIF without a master plan for the property. And we've had the homeless staying up there more than Good Samaritan has been able to take in. We've had the homeless the last 2 winters. And unfortunately, the first whole winter without a shower. And how that was allowed is,
Oh, they're actually
Yeah,
staying
they-
inside?
yes, they stay.
Oh,
Yeah, they're staying inside up in that,
Oh, I didn't know
in the
that.
old clubhouse. And it was well managed by Good Samaritan.
oh, okay, it was
But
Good Samaritan Park.
The fact that we allowed a shelter to, that's another topic for another day. But if, we all need to come up with some regional solutions for the unhoused. And the foundation of that needs to be dignity, agency, autonomy, opportunity, and privacy. The mental health issues go haywire when you don't give people privacy. And so these grouping people together, bunks in a room, makes the problem worse.
Yeah.
So that's another topic. Again, it should be in our municipal plans and in our regional plan. Because, but you get the idea that it was Calais, East Montpelier, some of these towns that are gonna be most impacted by this unplanned development of a major scale, could or should, in my opinion, speak up and say, Montpelier's plan is not ready until we've seen a traffic impact analysis and how you're gonna deal with it. How are you gonna afford to upgrade that intersection? They propose putting a roundabout in, just, 100 yards
From the other
from
one?
the other one? But I don't think there's space for a roundabout because of the rail siding. You can't come down and hit the rail siding at one level and jump down into the roundabout.
So if this project gets approved, if the plan gets approved and they get the growth center, what are the other regulatory tools in place?
There aren't any, that's the problem. Act 250 out of the window, you've lost your prime ag soil protection. And I think we need to be planning for food sustainability too. We could see emergencies come that leave us with food shortages, you know? So,
Bob, oh,
I was gonna ask, piggybacking off of the food, water, how much
I think,
more can the Berlin Pond handle?
I think we've got good capacity on water, but we would need bigger pipes up to that property.
Right.
And that's what they're hoping to use the TIF for, is they've actually commissioned, we paid VHB for final design on, from the roundabout all the way up to the clubhouse, final design of the water and sewer, and sized to handle up to those 500 homes.
I think the bigger question on the water is, what is the limit of the pond? When does the pond go dry? At what time What is the capacity to support how many new housing developments in the area that's gonna draw that water? At what point does it reach its capable capacity for sustainability?
I'll bet I hadn't thought of that one. We talk about sewer plant capacity, but we've assumed that there was an infinite.
The pond is
supply of
only so
water.
big, right?
Right.
And it can only produce so much water. What is that limit? I'm sure at some point in time there was a study done, but what is that number? Does anybody know it and looking at it?
And
Question.
again, firefighting capacity too. If we go dry and have firefighting, in California, the fire hydrants weren't working because there was not enough water to feed them all.
That's,
You know?
that's my question.
After-
What's the limit on the pond for sustainability to keep it a pond and keep supplying it?
So you're gonna find regional planning commission staff wants to just overlook all this and let it go through. And that might work to your advantage when your plan comes up, but I think that we need
No, we got a good
to,
one.
we need to really scrutinize, and we need to, in effect, build capacity into our regional planning commission to say no once in a while. And I think we've got the right combination of factors here to say no to Montpelier's and send
I
it
will
back.
tell you, they were pretty critical of ours when we put ours forward, and it was a good plan. I just surprised.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the executive director lives in Montpelier. I don't know.
Bob, what are your thoughts? You're the current,
I'm listening. We're hearing one point of view.
yeah.
I would want to hear some other points of view on the subject.
Have you had a
The Regional Planning Commission is stepping back and taking a look at this, and we'll look at it carefully. I unfortunately missed the last meeting.
Oh.
How I screwed up the date, I don't know. I showed up on Wednesday. I was there Wednesday. Unfortunately, there was no meeting. It was Tuesday. But be that as it may, I think the jury's out on this, and we'll take a hard look at it. I resist isolated efforts to make it more difficult to have housing. I think this is how we've got to where we are in Vermont, where we have people coming out of the woodwork, basically resisting every housing project for some ground or another. I'm not saying that's what Mr. Whitaker's doing here, but I would want to hear the rest of the story from the planning staff. I'm guessing that we're going to hear that, based on what I heard from Christian Meyer, who's the executive director. So I'll be looking forward to hearing that. I was interested in hearing Mr. Whitaker's point of view tonight.
I'd be happy to share that. I've got transcripts of both the subcommittee and the full meeting, and that's where it
I
happened.
have them too.
Okay.
I have them too.
And just to be on the record, I'm not opposed to housing. I think that what's gonna work up there is housing that's intentionally designed around creating the fewest number of car trips. So live there, farm there. Live there, take care of old people there. Live there, walk to your workshop, and, right? But the minimum number of car trips is a way that you could have a walkable village up there, and then go to town when you need to, once a week, whatever. But those intersections cannot handle, 400 or 500 units of housing of commuters plus 100 students, plus staff, plus, there's just no way.
See, you say that, Mr. Whitaker. I have not seen any evidence that suggests that that's the case. You're simply assuming it cannot handle it. I would need to see some real evidence that's true. We're not talking about that much housing. We're talking about a state and federal route, highway, I think the roundabout works well now. Soon as Vermont has learned how to go through it. It took a while,
Well,
so I would need to hear the rest of the story to answer
Sure.
your question.
Well, our plan documented is 300 to 500 units of housing. Again, there's no master plan, and 100 students plus staff of the Turtle Island, it's already a signed lease. So,
Where would this housing be better suited? Some place in the country, or?
probably a place with better transportation access. I'm not sure we'll ever get a second road through there, back down to Saban's pasture, and a second road out through Malone and Connor's property out to Gallison Hill. Has its own, $20–30 million for a road starts to make the project unfeasible. So,
How did
So,
Save,
is there any other,
oh, sorry, I just have to ask one more.
I'll be looking to
Okay.
hear
How
more.
did Savings Pasture ever become a growth center? I thought that was trying to be preserved.
It, actually, only the southwest corner of it was
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to be the growth center, but in order to get the TIF, which we later forfeited, because we were gonna do a reappraisal, and the TIF would have been a burden, we hadn't used it yet. So in order to get the TIF, we had to put the whole parcel into it. So arguably, that half-mile buffer would not reach Country Club Road if you went to the original boundary of the southwest corner, which is where they want to develop. And Sabins folks would rather build a campus for Turtle Island down there, which is a much better place for, if that steep road in the winter, even the Good Samaritan bus went off into the ditch up there on that slick road. So,
All right, well,
Thank
thank you for
you.
your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you for bringing it to our
Appreciate it.
attention.
Appreciate your time,
Yep.
thank you.
all right, town garage, concept drawings?
So, I sent them out on email, but, this is what,
Let's see if you get this in there.
I'm looking at. $6 million will get you, for you. Of course, with the $1 million from Gary,
Something like that.
and looking to get some participation from the Public Works Board. As proposed, we're probably looking at about the $4 million mark, low fours, that would have to bond for. Now, you know, this is the blue sky drawing, you know, with all the bells and whistles. If we need to start cutting, there is still opportunity in there to cut out some of this, cut out at least one of the bays and things like that, but just wanted to show you that's what architecture is at least looking at. I sent it out, so.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
So this is just an
Have you seen it,
FYI.
Carl?
Yeah.
I looked up, so, yes, I have, and when I was looking at it, I'm thinking, this doesn't look right, because I was thinking of the state garage. Like, where are all these buildings on this site?
No.
And then I finally was like, oh, town garage. It's a lot of money.
A lot of towns building garages, and it's a lot of money. It's all, I'm hearing similar costs in other towns.
I think it was. $15,000 square foot, and I want to say $402 a square foot is what they were.
Wow, it's even
What the,
$400 a square
what the
foot.
area, you know, the new garages, Waitsfield, Rick's getting one, East Montpelier, it's kind of what the.
How big is ours now?
6,000?
Wow.
Just a big box.
5,800?
But it is.
Yeah.
Construction's it's just so expensive now.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want anything more from this? I guess if there's nothing else, we'll move on to the Class 4 Road Assistance Program.
So it's
What do we have for a figure in there? 2,500?
25.
Is that all we got there?
Right.
So would the idea, sorry, I'm back on the garage, would the idea be to, you build it, it'd be built, and then the others would be torn down? Is that, or would the other,
Correct.
Yeah, but wait a minute, not all of it's being
The
torn down.
garage would be.
The garage, leaving the shed.
Salt shed and, yeah,
yeah? what's
Salt
that
shed
for
would be
garage?
good cold storage and
Yeah.
new salt shed.
that building would stay, that shed,
Yeah.
that one goes.
So we, Joe said we put 2,500 into the budget this year, just kind of as a test to see what kind of reaction, what kind of projects we would get. I mean, it's not very much as far as things go, but, you know, the people on Class 4 roads do pay property taxes. We generally take a very hands-off approach with our Class 4 roads, as rightfully should. You know, we did have a couple instances with the floods 2 years ago where, you know, we had to do some work on the Class 4 roads, and I think we kind of looked the other way when some of the private landowners were doing some additional work on the Class 4 roads. Here again, you know, to keep them open and passable, there's no guarantee this is gonna continue from year after year. And maybe we don't even get any applicants for it, I don't know. Or we may get $50,000 in requests and really have to limit it. But, you know, I think just for a first year, let's give it a try, see what we get, and, you know, they would, you know, basically they'd have to submit the right-of-way application and work with the road superintendent as far as the exact work they're gonna be doing on the road and get that approved by, you know, him, and then, you know, the permit approved by the select board, and Tim would have to sign off on everything before it comes to us for reimbursement.
How are we gonna go about communicating such a program?
I think it's the normal way, the website, Front Porch Forum, Facebook.
Have you set parameters up on this?
This is exactly what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I think it either has to be first come, first serve, it has to be, or there has to be criteria, and I'm wondering if we should limit it to half of a project cost, or a percentage of the total project cost. Cause it's not a lot of money in there.
There isn't.
So at least if we're paying half or some percentage, it incentivizes.
Do we have a Class 4 road policy?
We do.
Addresses who gets to do what on town road, the Class 4 roads, and who doesn't, and what the town will do and all that?
Right.
I should know it.
So we haven't reclassified your road yet.
Yet.
Yeah. Well, I think it starts with, you know, you have to do a very complete Class 4 road policy.
Right.
Because when you start encouraging improvements, who's gonna maintain those improvements? Is there a commitment, suddenly, that the town will be maintaining the improvements that you participated in? I would worry about what kind of future obligation you're creating for yourself. I think there needs to be some maintenance of Class 4 roads, but it needs to be very well guarded how you do it. That's my personal opinion.
So you're saying our participation by having this program may open up the door for us to maintain
An
our
obligation.
our obligation, okay.
I think I read some court cases on this, League of Cities and Towns, where the town made improvements and then were thereafter required to continue to keep those improvements up. And I don't know the details of that circumstance, but I would worry about that. So it's a lot of how you structure it, it's gotta be important. So there's some real, it's a delicate area. The whole class 4 road process is a very delicate area. And we saw that with the ancient road thing.
Well, I guess I understand that, you know, we are financing part of a project, but we are not, the town is not doing the project by financing it. Are you saying that there's gonna be now an obligation?
I would worry that I would wanna be real careful that there isn't. And that could be part of the language of any kind of grant.
Yeah.
I would wanna be sure that it would hold up in a court of law. Because I'm aware of circumstances where towns have become obligated to maintain class 4 roads. I don't remember the circumstances, but I know that that's happened. So I think it's a good idea. I think some of these roads need to be kept available, if no other purpose as trails. But start making them roads for residential development.
You already have that.
I know, but that's without sanction. See, once you start sanctioning it by funding it, I think you've created another animal.
The impetus was the
I don't
flooding.
know, I don't
The
know,
impetus
I'm
was the-
speculating, but
The
I would
impetus
worry
was the
about that.
flooding, because there was a couple of, you know, roads that got damaged where, you know, there was requests to the town for help to fix them.
And we don't get any FEMA money for class 4 roads.
Right.
So that was where this started. It wasn't just normal maintenance, it's, you
Yeah, no,
know,
there's the normal maintenance, and then are we obligated to maintain waterway structures? And I think that's the tricky area. Again, I have not looked at this recently. There was a time I was considerably more involved in it. That was 15, 20 years ago. I am retired. But I do recall there being some obligation to maintain culverts or water crossings. And I'm not sure how firm that is and what the degree of the obligation of the town is. There's no obligation to maintain the road, keep it open, that's clear. But somewhere in there's something I never quite understood, there was a responsibility to maintain bridges or culverts. And I would, I defer, I think the league has done a lot of work on this. I would defer to the league on this, at least in part. But as you all know, we have an excellent attorney here in town who's very well versed on ancient roads. And I'd probably consult with Paul on it. I'm not throwing a damper on it, I'm just saying,
No,
just
yeah.
when you do this, with good intentions, be careful not to obligate the town
Right.
here and after for more money.
good advice, Bob.
But you're right, we have taxpayers on those roads. We've had taxpayers on those roads all along, they just didn't have houses. They got property. But they're taxed accordingly.
Yeah, I just worry about the whole, how it's allocated. If, assuming we decide, that this is okay, and I just worry about how we're making our decisions about who gets the money.
Well, I know some towns who do this, it'll be a first come, first serve. You can never apply 2 years in a row, but they're also starting out with a little more, twice that amount anyway.
Yeah,
Well, there's two ways, it's first come, first serve, or you have a firm application date.
they have to, yeah, but then you still have to choose between
Right.
applications. I think that's what I worry
Yeah.
about. Is how do you that's why I think, and I
Well,
think.
the biggest one is to maintain emergency vehicle access. That's the biggest criteria we would use.
Yeah, and assuming that there's houses on all the roads, that's gonna be, I guess then you go by the number of houses, I mean, it's kind of, you know, I don't know. I just wouldn't wanna be the one making the decision.
How many homes do we have on class 4 roads now?
I don't
Ballpark,
know.
anybody? Just a ballpark.
I think you have 3 up Belknap. Like that.
Belknap would be the one the one class 4 road that I'm aware of. Sanctioned and unsanctioned, some of them unpermitted residents. They just, you know,
Showed up.
showed up, yeah. And,
There's 3 up there, you said,
I
right?
think there's 3.
I know there's one down past me. He lives there 3 seasons, but just past the Burleys, up there on the right. He's got a ranch house. I know there's one out there.
better way maybe to start treating those as private drives. But it's to what extent do you want to keep public right-of-way available, you know, for
private drive,
trail
right?
purposes.
For a trail, yeah, which, again, the one out past me gets used all the time for, you know, Jeeps and whatever. They drive through
Is
there.
that the one where the gun range is? No.
No,
Where's the gun?
It's
where-
up Belknap.
that's up
That's
Belknap.
about-
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, that's the reference I was making.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I drove a Belknap not long ago, and you were in four-wheel drive in the summer. It's, you know, so emergency vehicles, that might make it, but it's nothing I would plan on. And I don't know that you could do enough on that to make that suitable for emergency vehicles. And that's true of a lot of Class 4 roads.
Yeah,
I'm
why
thinking
not?
of- I'm thinking of Jonesbrook Road extension on Chase,
No, yeah,
that's, you know, that's all Class 4 up through there.
yeah.
And, you know, and I've been with a truck, but I'd rather do it with a four-wheeler.
Yeah.
It's tough going. So, and, you know, and that's in best of weather.
Okay,
So we're gonna move on.
Yep.
Approval of warrants, minutes. What? Who says?
Bob's moving on.
Good night.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Well, I'm curious how, curious how this,
If the select board has direction for the current representative of the Regional Planning Commission, you need to share that with me, otherwise you can leave it at my discretion.
alright, well, I just have a question. Are you concerned about the, I mean, so they didn't remove town centers from Act 250 review clearly, because the mall's going through Act 250 review for those applications, so is it just,
I need to view that.
cause that's the one thing that concerns me is.
There were statements made tonight that I don't believe are necessarily technically accurate.
Okay,
And I'm not saying they're wrong, I would
right.
need to substantiate
Wanna
them
make
separately.
sure that they're, that
Yeah, I
that's the
think that's all we need to do, is
interpretations.
just, you're gonna look at it anyway.
I-
Let us know what you find out.
Yeah, I will do that, and frankly, I'll get in touch with Tor, and I think there's some real issues that need to be addressed, but, again, I'm very guarded against isolated efforts that ultimately lead to canceling another housing project. And then we piss and moan about why we can't get housing, you know? We make it so expensive that you can't have it. It's kind of simple.
I do have a question though,
Yes?
that I brought it up earlier. So at some point in time, there must have been a study done, right, on the pond. What can it
Oh,
sustain?
yeah, I don't remember the number off my head, there's an absolute figure.
If Montpelier continues to grow and draw
Montpelier.
water,
And last I knew, and this is quite a while ago, and very frankly, their population has declined.
Mhm.
and I suspect their demand has declined. But at one point in time, they were right at the threshold.
Already,
Yeah.
okay.
Uh,
So
now-
I think we should know that, right?
Right.
And that should be an issue.
But again,
For the housing.
I don't know that we need to know that, and I'm not sure that, I think the city needs to know that, because the answer to that question is drill a well,
Yes,
find
exactly.
another source.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
At some point, that's gonna become a reality. I think it's nice for us to know, because I don't think anybody here wants to see the pond go dry.
Well, it won't, because there are rules regarding that. I mean, it's very well, governed. I think this, there was a lot of talk about that, how much can be drawn down. I think the state has used very safe limits in amount of withdrawal, looking at drought periods, something we haven't seen since the 50s.
Yeah.
But I remember back in the 50s, we had 10 years in a row where we were.
Like I said, I'm sure there was a study done, and there's a number out there
There is a
somewhere.
study has been done,
I'd like to
it's
see
been
it.
validated, it's a good number.
If you know where it is or can direct me,
I
I'd like to
can
look
find
at
it, it was Dufresne Henry did the study, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I may even have a copy of it somewhere, but
Even
certainly the city could get it for you. There is an absolute number on the safe yield.
Okay.
That's the number you're looking for.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good. I knew you'd know. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Good night.
Okay, warrants and minutes.
It's on your side of the table.
Payroll warrant 26-01 for payroll from June 29th, 2025 to July 14th, 2025, to be paid on July 16th, 2025, in the amount of $71,789.43. Payable warrant 26G1 with check number 25137 to 25171 in the amount of $109,269.95.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Alright,
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So, minutes, we have July 7th, July 18th, or July 14th and July 18th. This was a special.
Vince's name is spelled wrong at the top of the second page of July 7th.
Yes. First full sentence.
And the font's
I've
different
been
in
called
one
worse,
section,
it's
I'm not sure why.
I'll make a motion to approve July 7th as noted with Carla's correction.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I make the motion to approve the Monday, July 14th, 2025 regular select board meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
So not to be technical, but it was a special meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, regular, yeah. I thought it said regular special, but regular, these are both special meetings, but.
Were they advertised as special?
Mm-hmm.
They were.
Yeah.
So then that should be changed. So I will change my motion to approve the minutes of Monday, July 14th, 2025, as amended to notate that it was a special select board meeting.
I'll second it again, thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carla.
Are we gonna vote, Joe?
Oh, I thought we did. I thought we were moving on to the
No, we
July
didn't.
18th. Did we not? All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry.
I'll-
Opposed? Thank you. So the July 18th?
Except it's Friday, July 18th, not Monday, July
Yeah.
18th.
That was also special.
I'll move to approve with the changes to special select board on Friday, July 18th.
Second?
There was Flo a second.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other discussion, any other changes? Seems none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So do you have anything on this? We're gonna even talk about that.
That's executive session.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right, round table? Flo?
No, thank you, nothing, thank you.
Vince?
I'm good. Thought I had something, but I lost it.
Mm.
My mind's a complete blank.
Lost whatever it
Carla?
was. That's,
Thank
Sure.
you, though.
I have some interesting statistics from the police department today.
I do remember what it was I had. Can I come back and cut you off? Sorry.
I suppose.
So I was asked to check with,
Oh, I don't
Chief,
think you want
about,
to say that. I don't think you want to say that in open
you don't think
session.
so? Okay, I was gonna be very discreet, but okay, I don't have anything.
I replied to the homeowner, it's been referred to the police department.
Perfect, okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, so this is.
So this was, police department, chief did these statistics, Berlin so far this year has more arrests, more charges than either Berry City or Montpelier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That, it's been like that for a while.
For a long time.
A long
It does
time.
not surprise me, it's very noticeable. They were very diligent, and not that anyone doesn't, it just a lot has been happening here. And so, it doesn't come as a surprise to me seeing these numbers.
Is there anything else?
Find that interesting though, thank you, Tor. I
Did
did
it?
find that interesting.
Yeah, I'd like more.
Not surprising, but interesting.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
definitely interesting.
It's interesting, I'd love more detail, but yeah, it's good.
Thank you.
Well, I think if there's nothing else, just want to welcome, was it Keystone, a new business in town? They had their
Oh, that's-
ribbon cutting, Keystone.
Landscaping, stone.
Landscaping stone.
Architectural stone and landscaping, I was there today looking at granite pavers,
Yeah.
Mm.
So, they
which I will
had,
be purchasing. Thank you.
it was a nice event, where I also ran into a couple of the people from the AGC. which we talked about training opportunities, not just for the PD, but for our road crew, where they have just
Sit here.
invested several $100,000, if not a million, in the simulators. So you're gonna have the ability to, excavators, dozers, and they're moving on to graders and other equipment, where you can go in, let's say, in the winter time, when you're not plowing, and you're not out on the road, you can go down there and probably put in nearly 20 hours worth of training on a simulator.
I mean, if you learn how to drive them?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm gonna say, let's say operate them.
Does it translate to the real thing?
You don't spend $1 million+ on.
I hope, I just feel like being on snow and, I don't know, it's just different.
So how would we go about scheduling that?
I can give you the contact.
I-
Ben Osha. I'm not leaving anymore.
Excuse me.
I think Dick Wabi gave him his last name. But
I
check
think
out,
it's something we should take advantage of.
yeah, check out the website. They have what they call toolbox talk,
Mhm.
and they talk about the previous week and what's coming up.
So who does this?
Associated General
Oh.
Contractor.
Yeah.
oh, oh, oh.
AGC.
So you're looking for the individual, or you're looking for the?
No,
the
no, the
business?
I'm sure
organization.
there'll be
Okay.
a cost for it.
Oh, there is,
No, thanks.
but I think there's great opportunities, training.
Good.
All right, that's all I have. And if there's nothing else, look for a motion to go into executive session.
I move to enter to executive session for personnel under 1 VSA 313A3 and invite the town clerk.
Second.
All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Opposed?